When do we ever know what we're doing? I'll tell you when. When it's all over with and there's nothing we can do about it. A word that escapes our lips too quickly. A contract that we've signed before we've had a chance to consider all the different angles. Revenge sought in the heat of anger. Oh, we think we know what we're doing at the time. Everything seems right and perfectly rational at the time. But then we find that the beachfront property we bought was actually a swamp in Samaria. Or we've called our wife's cooking a burnt offering for the last time, and it's time to seek forgiveness. I thought I knew what I was doing when I bid for a position of chief tax collector in Jericho. At the time, I thought every man has the right, no, the duty to provide income for himself. I even told myself that it was perfectly all right because it was perfectly legal. I mean, the Roman government even told me that it was to back me, and I was able to take more taxes than was entirely necessary and to split the difference. Everyone was doing it. Mostly Gentiles, but I even had the military backing behind me. Anyone gave Zaccheus a problem, just one word to the military would send a centurion to their door to encourage cooperation. And centurions can be very cooperative and encouraging people. Anyway, I wish taxpayers in the city of Jericho don't tend to be terribly popular among their fellow Jews. But then I was never all that popular to begin with. Before I became a, shall we say, financial giant, my fellow Jews tended to look down on me due to my small stature. All the women looked down on me. Even some of the children would entertain themselves by calling me little boy and asking whether my mother knew that I'd gotten out of the nursery. I felt ashamed for being different, although I had no reason to feel shame for that. What I should have felt shame for was the hatred I began feeling towards my fellow Jews. As hatred leads to thoughts of revenge. It takes power to exact revenge. And tax collectors in the city of Jericho command great power. How does it feel to gain such power after having less than none before? I'll tell you what it feels like. It affects you like strong drink. You become giddy with your newly found influence over others. Soon you become numb to the results of your behavior. It becomes easier and easier to demand more of the people you see as your enemies. They're not people anymore. They're food to fuel the fire of your vengeance. Vengeance is mine, you tell yourself, and you feel like a god. Power to extort taxes. Power to take rightful wages from men. Power to crush families and send them into slavery. Not bad for a man of small stature. But the strong drink of power never does quench the real thirstings inside. I began to wonder, where's all this heading? I became one of the richest men in my district, and all my wealth couldn't bring me peace. Then I heard about a man named Jesus of Galilee, and I became curious. He was a great teacher and prophet. And I heard that he was passing through Jericho on his way to Jerusalem. And something inside of me motivated me to join the throngs in the streets and to see him, to touch him, to hear him speak just one word. The people pressed around him like sheep around a feeding trough. I could see the crowd going up the main avenue of the city, but I couldn't see Jesus. I remembered a sycamore tree I used to climb as a child. What if I ran down and climbed a tree and watched him as he passed by? I found that I was still as nimble as a monkey, swinging up into the tree and sliding out onto a branch overhanging the street. They were almost there. They were so busy looking at Jesus and talking with him, they couldn't even see that I was dangling overhead. But he realized, as he came to the part of the street where I was directly under the tree, where I was clinging to the branch like tight as a green fig, he stopped. Jesus stopped and looked up. What was that smile on his face? Was it amusement? I guess I did look a little odd. The city's chief tax collector, suspended in midair over this flock of admirers like a cat that had been chased up a tree by a toothless dog. He summoned to me by name, said, "Zaccheus, come down immediately. I must stay at your home today." I practically fell off the limb. I quickly climbed down the tree and escorted him directly to my home. I never felt so tall in all my life. You should have heard some of the people muttering against Jesus then. He is gone to be the guest of a sinner. And I was. And he had. Just being in his presence filled me with a fire that, not like the fire of vengeance, but more like the light of the lamp of truth. And by the lamp of this lamp of truth, I found that I saw that no matter what anyone had done to me, I had no right to rob God's people and become rich in the righteous name of tax collecting. Look, Lord, I told him, from this point on, I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I've cheated anybody out of anything, I'll pay them back 4 times the amount. This time, his smile was not one of amusement, but of favor. He said, "Today salvation has come to this house because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man has come to save and to seek those who were lost." It was then that I began to know forgiveness. God forgave me not because of paying back all the money that I took. It was because I saw my sin for what it was and I was sorry. Just like God will forgive anyone who has sinned, who sees it for what it is, admits it, and asks for mercy. It's funny. I thought I went out to seek Jesus that day, and he told me he came seeking me. He first saw me on a cross of all places, a tree of all places. Now I find him on one. Please forgive us, Father, for we know not what we're doing.